A former CEO has just called out last week's AGM as an absolute disaster. Martin O'Neill has fired a major warning at the Celtic board about backing the new manager, and we've got a huge injury update ahead of tonight's Europa League clash with Feyenoord. Plus, O'Neill didn't hold back when a journalist asked him a ridiculous question, and Robin van Persie has made an interesting confession about Celtic. It's been another wild 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
Former Aberdeen chief executive Keith Wyness believes last week's chaotic Celtic AGM has only deepened the divide between the board and the support, rather than helping to ease tensions. Wyness, who also held senior roles at Everton and Aston Villa and now advises clubs through his football consultancy, says the scenes at Celtic Park showed a leadership group completely out of sync with its fan base. All eyes were on the meeting at Parkhead, with many hoping that there could be some answers provided after a chaotic few months at the club. From the disastrous summer window to Rodgers leaving, which led to Dermot Desmond penning an official statement on the club website, which took aim at the former manager. Speaking to Football Insider, Wyness said the board badly misjudged the mood of shareholders and missed a crucial opportunity to calm the ongoing civil war inside the club. He explained it's got very toxic and that AGM did not help. You'd thought they could have at least thrown some oil on troubled waters, but Ross Desmond, the son of Dermot Desmond, did quite an inflammatory speech, which I didn't really expect. It wasn't really the diplomatic way to have handled the situation, and I watched the footage very quickly after it came out, and certainly Peter Lawwell, who I know well and I've dealt with in the past, had to abruptly end the AGM, a lot of shouting and jeering, etc., and I thought he acted a little bit prematurely. I think they could have gone on and they could have tried to at least answer the questions and had a proper debate. All they've done is bottle it up even further. I think there could have been time for a Q&A, and that could have been the time to really have put forward different sides of the argument. Friday was a disappointment for everyone involved. The shareholders couldn't have the chance to hold the board to account, and the top table was embarrassed. The biggest answer will come in the January window. The new manager, looking to be Wilfried Nancy, needs to be back to the hill in January. Martin O'Neill has warned the Celtic board that they'll need to invest in the squad. Now, for the main story, as Martin O'Neill has confirmed a welcome boost for Celtic ahead of Thursday night's Europa League clash with Feyenoord. Kelechi Iheanacho has travelled with the squad to Rotterdam. The striker has been out with a muscle issue and was spotted in training ahead of flying to the Netherlands on Wednesday. O'Neill is pleased to have him back on the plane, but he issued a warning that the Nigerian will still need to be assessed before any decision is made on his involvement. Providing his squad update at De Kuip, O'Neill said, "Yeah, they've travelled. We'll see. It's the amount of work that they haven't really done that would be something that I would consider over the course of the next 24 hours. That would be great if we had that option. It's something that we haven't had, so that would be a major plus." Celtic's attacking options have been stretched in recent weeks, with Callum Osmond, Dyson Maeda, James Forrest, and Jota all sidelined, while Iheanacho's pace and movement have been badly missed since his strong start under O'Neill. The interim boss added, "I think in the weeks going forward now, that's something that players can stay injury-free. That would be terrific. We haven't had the use of a number of players, obviously long-term injuries and quality players, but that's the nature of the game. Iheanacho's availability, even as a bench option, would be a huge lift for a Celtic side trying to build momentum and take advantage of a Feyenoord team arriving into the match on the back of a damaging league defeat." Martin O'Neill has confirmed that this will be his last match in charge of Celtic in Europe. Wilfried Nancy is set to take charge in the coming days and could be in the dugout for Celtic's match against Dundee next Wednesday. One supporter points out Iheanacho back just in time to disappear to AFCON along with Tunekti and Balikwisha. His return doesn't really help us at all. Another adds, "The abject paucity of even squad numbers together with the chronic lack of quality of the playing squad, all subtly mentioned by BR as a clear illustration of the CFC board's strategy, is now here for everyone to see." In other news, Martin O'Neill wasn't in the mood for any simplistic narratives as he faced the media in Rotterdam. The interim boss, preparing for what will be his final European match in charge before Wilfried Nancy arrives, was asked right at the start of the press conference, "Feyenoord, this is what you're here to talk about tonight. It's a huge match for the club. I presume you'll be wanting to ensure that when you do depart, you'll have left having picked up 3 points here?" O'Neill sarcastically replied, "Oh yeah, just as easy as that. It's very, very simple. You're joking me, aren't you?" When the journalist replied no, O'Neill fired back with a more grounded assessment. "No? Okay, no. We're going to try and win the game, of course. Nothing about this trip is simple, and O'Neill knows better than anyone that sentiment alone won't win matches in Europe. Feyenoord haven't been at their best, losing 4 of their last 5 matches. Thursday night will be no easy task for the Hoops, who desperately need a win in the Europa League to lift them up the table. The campaign started with a 1-1 draw against Red Star Belgrade. That was somewhat promising and gave Celtic a platform to build on, but that was then followed by a 2-0 defeat at Celtic Park to Braga. Then manager Brendan Rodgers did manage to get a win over Sturm Graz, but Midtjylland convincingly beat Martin O'Neill's side. Celtic sit on 4 points after 4 matches and are down in 27th. A win tonight could see them rise up the table into the playoff places, but as Martin O'Neill knows, it will be no easy match for the Hoops. In other news, ahead of Thursday night's Europa League meeting in Rotterdam, Feyenoord boss Robin van Persie has admitted he hopes beautiful Celtic can rediscover their best form, though not until after they face his side. Celtic arrive in the Netherlands on the back of domestic turmoil, a fractured AGM, fan protests, and mounting pressure on the club's hierarchy. Off the pitch, it's been one of the most chaotic spells in years. On it, results in Europe have been a shadow of last season's progress, with the team sitting near the bottom of their Europa League table and 4 points behind Hearts in the Premiership. Speaking at his pre-match press conference, Van Persie said he could empathise with players trying to perform during a storm of noise, but insisted professionals must focus on their work. He told Clyde One Super Scoreboard, as a coach and as a team, you are focused on your daily routine and your training sessions and your games, and you go from game to game to game. And so, if I look back at challenging periods during my time as a player, it didn't really affect me because as a player, you were focused on your job, basically. And as a coach, that is the same. But that is very personal. Every coach, every player is dealing with that stuff the way he feels is best. I can't really judge that because I don't really know how it is. So, from that point of view, I hope Celtic will get back to their best. Well, not tomorrow. But besides tomorrow, Celtic is a beautiful football club with really passionate supporters and a really clear way of playing. So hopefully they get back to the best again after tomorrow. Lastly, Martin O'Neill has warned the Celtic board that Wilfried Nancy will need serious backing to rebuild a squad that has fallen well short of required standards this season. The Hoops are closing in on their new manager, with Martin O'Neill confirming Thursday night will be his last European match in the dugout for Celtic. With just 2 games left as interim boss, away to Feyenoord on Thursday and Hibs on Sunday, O'Neill has been refreshingly frank about the state of the team he inherited. Celtic's summer window was widely criticised by supporters for a lack of quality and ambition, and the effects have been clear both domestically and in Europe. As Nancy prepares to take over, O'Neill says the board cannot repeat that mistake. O'Neill said to Sunsport, if you have recruited a manager, that is fine. But player recruitment is essential, it's really important. Last year, in terms of Europe, it was like a nice shining light, as if you could push on. Then you step back again, and it's not so strong. In the next couple of years, Celtic will come again in European football. They might just have to step back for a while at this minute, but recruitment is really important. I know people always say about January being a difficult window, and it may well be, but if you're talking about rebuilding the club to try to compete in Europe, and to be able to not have a big intake of breath when someone expects you to go to Feyenoord and win, then that is the point.
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.